Not blaspheme, Malachi. You know not the laws. He speaks them only to me.
I think not, Isaac. You are the one who's lost favor with him. He's the God of blood and sacrifice, not ceremony.
Ah, sacrilege! Down on your knees, heretic!
Shut your mouth, Isaac. You've grown prideful and apart from us.
Gosh.
He who walks behind the rose will decide your fate.
Don't just sit there. Seize him, punish him, cut him down, I command you. I am the word and the giver of his laws. Disobedience to me is disobedience to him. Do it now, or your punishment shall be 1,000 times, 1,000 deaths, each more horrible than the last.
They are tired of your talk, Isaac. I've shown them what I can do. Cut the woman down. Put Isaac in her place.
Praise the Lord for bringing us this generous bounty.
Just give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Wait. I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
Living flesh.
I guess that's about 56 minutes, huh?
Frighten me. Back on the menu.
I swear I'm hungry. Each word I say, farther into a radical hypnopause.
No secret, Mr. Maize. Don't skip on the meat.
I'd buy that for $1.
Don't that for me, please. I'm trying to get back.
Oh, look at me. I'm another thing.
Seem easily upset.
I'm so fucking hungry, Bill. I'm so hungry. I never knew anyone could be so hungry.
What about that time I found you naked with that bowl of jello? Hello, folks. Welcome back to the CB Podcast. It's been a long time since I did one of these personal problems, health problems, computer taking a shit problems. These things all contribute to the minutia of podcasting. You know, these things. You need your head right, your body right, and your computer right to say, hey, I'm going to do a show. But hey, mostly fixed now. My head is here. It's here with you guys, and I'm ready to have fun again watching films. And I'll start with this series right here, which I may have guessed for. I don't know. Co-host may be here for a couple of these. I don't know. We'll see. Because last time I tried to do this, I made him watch the Hellraiser series, Suzanne and Court, and some were successful. The later ones, not so much. If you guys don't know the problems, Dimension tried to keep hold of that license, and they said, hey, we got all these scripts. They got nothing to do with Hellraiser. Let's just throw Pinhead in them so we keep the license going. But the series in question on this, and I'm gonna discuss them all. Because why the fuck not? This is the kind of series that I love. I love sequels that jump the shark with every entry. And the Children of the Corn franchise is no exception to all of those rules, breaking rules. Right from the start, it says, hey, we take this story that's 10 pages long inside of Night Shift and we'll make a full movie about it. But, you know, were they successful? I think they were pretty well. First Children of the Corn came out in 1984. Yeah, this is directed by Franz Kirsch. That's how you pronounce his last name. This guy had a pretty interesting career, directing-wise. And it's kind of like Bob Clark in the sense that he directed many different kinds of films, not just horror. We'll go into it right now, and I'll tell you what those films are. One we discussed on In the Pere Way, which is Into the Sun, with Anthony Michael Hall and Michael Pere. Tough Turf with the great James Spader and Robert Downey Jr. That's kind of like a White Kid Gang musical or something. It's been a while since I watched it, but it's really fucking crazy. Under the Boardwalk, which is like a sex comedy. Gore, which is a sword and sandal movie. Winner Take All is a motocross movie. He directed 2 episodes of the Swamp Thing TV series, so it's all over the spectrum with this guy. And I had the opportunity to meet him one time, and I didn't do it. I've regretted it ever since. Just to get inside that brain a little bit, I would love to do that. And This comes, of course, from the short story out of Stephen King's Night Shift, which contained lots of fodder for Stephen King's Hollywood oeuvre. I know my friend Dan Bones doing the podcast on Haunted Hill. Check it out, guys. Of doing 31 Days of Stephen King, and he hasn't mentioned this one yet, but he's mentioned lots of other ones to say, yeah, I checked it out, and lots of different ones, and sorry for the talking in the background, trying to get this over with. Not really trying to do that, but this one, again, 1984, great trailer, great poster. And a child shall lead them. Just a reaper in the background with a child's hand out, Stars. Peter Horton as Bert. You may know Peter Horton from the TV show 30-something, if you're as old as I am. That came out when I was younger. And this is about 5 years previous to that, I think, right around there. Most famous for that, really. And the film Side Out, which if you watch HBO in the 90s, this film stars him and C. Thomas Howell, and they are volleyball players. So dig that, if you will. Male bonding in volleyball. Kind of like Top Gun, just without the planes, Linda Hamilton as Vicky. Know her, of course, Sarah Connor from the Terminator series. Beauty and the Beast TV show. Other stuff, too. Resident Alien recently, which is great. She had a great run on that show, Resident Alien. Check that show out. Shame that shit got canceled. That upsets me. That Alan Tudyk had a very successful TV series that got canceled. Bullshit. Consummate genre actor R.G. Armstrong as Deal, the gas man. Been in everything. So many things. I don't even mention many things he's been in, but R.G. Armstrong is all over the place. John Franklin as Isaac. This, known as the guy who's in the Cousin It costume in the Addams Family movies, the Raul Julia and Angelica Houston ones. I know him as a fellow South Suburb guy because he's from Blue Island, Illinois, which is from a couple towns away from where I'm from. So every time I see him, I say, "Hey, South Side," and he gets really excited because he gets to come home when he comes to Chicago. He gets to go visit people he doesn't get to go visit so much. Courtney Gaines, another one, consummate genre actor. This kind of movies, teen movies. Can't Buy Me Love, of course, The Burbs. Everybody loves The Burbs. He's in that movie. Tons of other stuff. Robbie Kiger, who didn't do a whole lot. He plays Job, but he is like the number 2 kid in the Monster Squad. And it's so odd. I mentioned to my sister today that he doesn't do a whole lot of conventions because they have big Monster Squad conventions, and he doesn't really show up to them. So maybe it's a personal thing or like a privacy thing. I don't know. He plays Job, the little sparky little kid that helps them. Anna Marie McAvoy as Sarah, Job's sister. The mute psychic girl in this movie, his sister. I wonder if we're going to mention, well, the guy that's going to sacrifice himself because this is his 19th year. John Philbin as Amos, who has been in... Has been in many things over the years. Point Break, Return of the Living Dead. John Philbin's face. He's been in many things in genre time, and good stuff. I love John Philbin. I met him at a convention a couple times over the years, and just a fun guy to talk to. Just a real nice guy too. What else we got here? Yeah, writer Stephen King, short story. Script by George Goldsmith, which is supposed to be a whole lot bigger, apparently, because they had budget problems, which is very, very low. And part of that budget was Stephen King's money, because they, I guess he had a drug problem back in these days, and he wanted more money for drugs, possibly. Unconfirmed. But yeah, he loved the nose candy, man. Not filming in Nebraska at all. Sioux City, Iowa, USA. There you go. This is a New World picture, which at the beginning you get right away that awesome New World logo. So it was low budget. But just getting the meat and potatoes of this film. Couple comes to town. Guy's just gonna become a doctor, get an internship, and they stop in this Nebraska town to where there's nobody around. They get lost, kind of, and shit happens with these kids who happened 4 years ago. It's 10 years ago in the story, short story. Killed all the parents in town. So it's just these kids and their cult leader, Isaac, who is praised to a monster that lives in the corn, apparently. And, yeah, that's about the size of it. His number 2, Malachi, is as psycho as ever in this movie. So we follow this couple. They meet random people. They meet Job, who's this precocious little punk that helps them out. And it leads to Bert's lady Vicky getting kidnapped and almost sacrificed by these people. And there's power control here, and it ends with a really crazy conclusion because you see he who walks behind the rose, and it's really bad looking. But yeah, it's pretty simple stuff. Kids going crazy in town. You get to hear all about the crazy religion. It sounds like I'm really underselling this, and I probably am. But this is the least bonkers of all of these movies. So it's kind of hard for me to say, hey, you know, part 2 and 3 are kind of better because we'll get into that later. But interesting stuff I found. The thing looks like it's got a tremor in the cornfield. The effect of He Who Walks Behind the Rose was done very simple. It was done with a trench and a wheelbarrow to push that dirt up, and it looks pretty goddamn convincing. Performances in this movie, I will say I got to give it to Peter Horton, who's probably the most learned actor besides R.G. Armstrong in this movie, who turns in like a 3-minute performance, but it was supposed to be longer, like I said, involved the decapitation and everything else, but budgetary reasons. Your 2 leads, your strong suit of this movie, John Franklin as Isaac, and Courtney Gaines as Malachi, because John Franklin lights up the screen as this boy preacher doing his shtick about he who walks behind the rose and why you should obey him and like why you should obey his laws and how Malachi's mind has been warped, all the stuff, and of course Malachi. Courtney Gaines, this is a banner performance for him. Apparently how he got the role was during the audition. He wasn't going to hurt anybody, but he brandished a fake bladed weapon on some person he was auditioning for, and they bought that he was going to play this psycho kid oh so well. And he plays it oh so well. If there's a highlight of this movie, say, hey, you know what? You want to watch Malachi do his thing? I'll say, check out Malachi do his thing because Outlander, we have your woman, man. It's so good, that town square scene where he brings Vicky out there and just cutting her and shit, get Bert to come out, come get your woman, man. And because I guess he's a desperate dude at that point, which is, yeah, tied up Isaac, and then all of a sudden he's just like this desperate dude. So he kind of looks like a bitch at that point. But beyond that, if you've seen it, you've seen it. If not, it came out in '84. It's almost as old as I am, so I'm not spoiling too much here as far as the movie goes. I will say it is a start of something crazy. Go check it out. One of the greatest opening scenes, I would give that to Franz Kershaw all day long. One of my favorite opening scenes in any 80s horror film belongs to this film because it's the diner scene. Job and his daddy are going to the diner. The sister's very sick, so dad's going to go make the call. You see kids come in, they lock the door, and then Isaac shows up and simply nods his head wearing that fucking hat, and we give him that look. John Franklin does more acting with his face than most actors would do in an 80s horror film, I think, without saying anything. And that scene, it's silent except for the music mostly. I mean, just cutting people up, and it's kind of like Texas Chainsaw. It's about what you don't see. Like when you see the slicer and they stick him on the slicer, You see the blood splatter. It lands magically in Job's milkshake, and I wonder if he took a sip after that. I don't even know, but yeah, it's just filmed in a way to where you know the devastation was happening, but they don't show it. But at the same time, you don't care because it was filmed so brilliantly. So this is a strong point of this film to say, hey, how do we start big? This is that diner scene. And I admire him for the way he filmed this, and the actors, doing so much fucking face acting. These young actors, although John Franklin, who has some kind of disease to make him short, was 24 at the time of this being filmed. Just owning it though, man. Again, highlights this film. Those two guys right there, John Franklin and Courtney Gaines. The use of their surroundings. More R.G. Armstrong would have been nice, but again, budgetary stuff. I'm gonna leave this at that, and get really excited for Children of the Corn Part 2: The Final Sacrifice, because that's the next thing we're gonna discuss on this here program. This quick little bit here, this quick 15-minute bit about a series that kicked off. With a whimper in a way, but again, you can't blame this film all the way, because you're working with a budget, you have a script, you have infinite storyboards. I'm sure you learned that from Tom Savini, who wanted to make that Night of the Living Dead movie the way he wanted to make it, and again, stuff got cut, and this got cut a lot apparently. So I'd imagine to get an R rating as well. Or Pete, what is this rated even? Let's look at that real fast. This was rated R. So, to do the stuff they were discussing, like this decapitating the gas man and stuff, I think it might have had an X rating in 1984, and they don't like to release non-rated movies in movie theaters, so to think, what this could have done with an unrated cut, that's a today thing. That might exist on a Blu-ray somewhere, but not here, because those films, or whatever, those scenes were never filmed. Yeah. Budget $800,000 estimated. Opening weekend, $2,242,821. Made $15 million altogether. So for less than $1 million movie, you made $15 million. Not bad for 1984. Again, you got sequels, but much later, probably like I don't know how many years later, but. I'd love to say Strike When the Iron's Hot, but the next one gets pretty fucking bonkers. So next show, either me with myself or me with people, Children of the Corn 2: The Final Sacrifice will be in your ears. I'm trying to get these out in succession of the days here. Maybe more than one thing, depending how inspired I am. But, yeah, that's coming out right now, brothers. Children of the Corn. Available on many, many formats. Digital, Blu-ray, 4K probably somewhere. All the things. It's classic. It's classic 80s VHS schlock with a dynamite opening scene. And, yeah, I just dig it, man. I dig this, most of this series. I say, I dig this whole series. That'd be a fucking lie, because some of it gets pretty fucking hokey, but in the dumb way. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. This has been a Sin Beef podcast, where if you've got beef, we've got the grinder. See you next time.
How about a nice, greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray?